Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of the five-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Coming to you live from Corner of the Galaxy Studios on Thursday, May 2nd. Welcome to May, boys and girls. LA Galaxy had an excellent April, something we're certainly going to talk about, but now May comes along with 6 rapid-fire games throughout the entire month. Some tough games for the Galaxy, going to talk about that as well. Lots of rumors circulating around the Galaxy as the window closes, the primary transfer window, closing on May 7th, so just 5 days from the recording right now. So, a lot of stuff to get to. Before we get to any of that, let's welcome my good friend over here, the Portuguese hammer himself. Eric, how's it going, buddy? You good?
I'm doing well.
Yeah? You hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. You know, we had a perfect April, so, you know, I think May's going to be a little trickier, but I'm excited to be here. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hot LA Galaxy talk right now.
Hot.
Good times. It's hot.
It's hot. It's good stuff. All right.
Good stuff.
So, so the LA Galaxy getting ready to take on the New York Red Bulls coming up. We're going to get you ready for that game. Certainly talk a whole bunch about that, but just to let you know, if you want to find anything on the website right now, we're upgrading the website. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah. We're upgrading the website, so it's taking a little bit. That means it's not going to look any different, but all the back-end stuff is getting updated. So if you have any problems going to the website, that's sort of what we're going through in the next couple of days. It'll be back up and running here probably in the next 24 hours, but just in case you notice anything different, that's sort of what's going on.
So is it a hamstring, a meniscus? What exactly is holding up the website?
Yeah, it had surgery.
Okay.
It had surgery. It's going to be out until September.
Is it season ending?
Yeah,
or
yeah. Our server's name is Alessandrini. So no, how it is. We should also mention that
thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, we should also mention that if you are watching the live stream or you're watching one of our recordings, is that we do have our Galaxy History shirts on.
Shout out to Galaxy History.
Yeah, doing a great job out there.
Doing the Lord's work.
That's right. So that's what we got here. Those shirts were for sale. Maybe he'll have them up for sale again as he does some fun. But I think they're awesome. They're cool. We dig them. We'll wear them on the show. I don't think we actually didn't plan to wear them today.
We didn't talk about it. But when I got it in the mail, I gave him a shout out. You know, he gave the show a shout out. So I said, well, you're in for a treat. And when it shows up, just the timing of it, I think we both knew subconsciously that we were going to be twins today.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
Different colors, at least.
That's right. That's how it goes. So, big shout out to Galaxy History, who now does Galaxy 2 History as well.
Glutton for punishment.
I was going to say, talk about like no return on that. That's just, it's awesome. I look at the posts all the time.
It is great.
He's a great guy, so certainly get out there. Let's start with LA Galaxy news as we get you ready for this busy month of May. The LA Galaxy in a blockbuster giant trade. Eric.
Breaking.
Huge trade. One of the most MLS trades of all MLS trades that you've probably ever seen in all of MLS. And we'll explain it and sort of see how we can get you through this. The LA Galaxy traded with Minnesota United. That's what you needed to know. What they traded was the Galaxy traded $225,000 in general allocation money to Minnesota for $325,000 in targeted allocation money. Now, most of you, your heads exploded, and I saw it on Twitter, and I
think that's why the website's down. They just can't compute all these numbers and GAM and TAM and JAM. I mean, it's all over the place. So yeah, it's very MLS-y. Explain it to walk us through our MLS roster guru.
Yeah.
Let us know, what does this all mean? Because I see a higher dollar amount than what the Galaxy got back. So I look at that as a positive, but is it really? In MLS, it wouldn't surprise me if the higher dollar amount actually hampers you in some way.
Yeah, it might be. It might. The bottom line here is that you don't need to even know what the two do in order to understand the trade. Is that one team, the LA Galaxy, valued the targeted allocation money, the TAM, more than the general allocation money, the JAM. All right. So when you look at the 225 and the 325, and you see the difference in $100,000. Ultimately, you have to look at the Galaxy and say, hey, the Galaxy needed this targeted allocation money, this TAM, for something, and they traded something at a lower amount to get something for the higher amount. They're probably equal whenever it all sort of, I mean, there's no what is it? There's no exchange. There's no exchange rate that we know of.
This is yen and pesos. They don't play well normally. Yeah, it's not a regular occurrence.
Well, and the whole deal here really is that the bottom line is you cannot use general allocation money and targeted allocation money together, which is why the Galaxy were able to take something that they probably had some of and couldn't use in a certain way, which was the JAM, the general allocation money at $225,000, and they traded it for $325,000 in targeted allocation money. Now, if you're setting these two beside you, people are going to tell you that general allocation money is way more valuable than targeted allocation money, and the reason for that is that you can do more with general allocation money than you can with TAM. TAM is restricted.
Yeah, fewer restrictions. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, so JAM you can do you can sign new players to MLS. You can re-sign an existing MLS player. You can offset acquisition costs, including loan and transfer fees. In connection with the extension of a player's contract for the second year, provided the player was new to MLS in the immediate prior year. I mean, there's to reduce the salary budget charge of a designated player to a limit of $150,000.
Slow down.
Yeah,
slow down.
You can do all of this stuff with general. It's really, you can use it for whatever you need.
It's general. You can use it for anything in general.
And there isn't as much JAM right now, from what I understand, as there is TAM right now. So by just the scarcity, it's more valuable as well. With targeted allocation money, it's very specific, and this leads us into sort of all of our rumors and stuff that we're talking about. But with targeted allocation money, the player must earn more than the maximum budget charge, which right now is $530,000, and it can't be more than $1.5 million. That's the ceiling on it.
Cap.
That's the cap. So you know that the Galaxy are getting this money to get a targeted allocation money player, which means they're going to pay that player somewhere between $530 and $1.5 million.
And I think that's the positive, and that's where you walk away feeling good about this trade, because the reason why you need TAM is because you are signing a player who is at a higher value. They're at a higher cost. The Galaxy have been burned in the past by some players who are maybe too expensive, who you need TAM to buy them down. But everything that DTK has done leading up to this point, and GBS as well, leading up to this point, have led us to believe that the people they're bringing in are quality people. So if they're bringing someone in who's valued at over $500,000 and they're going to need this money to buy them down, you're thinking we're going to be getting a good player here. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. And it also, again, it's probably, the Galaxy had general allocation money, and they probably had about $720,000 or $750,000 just from the Ola Kamara trade.
Deal gave them, they were flush.
They were able to convert like the $2 million or the $3 million, whatever money they got for Ola Kamara. They were able to convert some of that into about $720,000 or $750,000 in general allocation money. They can use the other money for other expenses that aren't payroll related. Yeah, I know.
Explain this in terms I can understand. So if you have pogs and slammers, like what's the exchange rate? How many? Is it 1 for 1 exactly?
No, it's not, right? And that's the whole idea. I mean, your slammers are typically going to be more valuable.
How about a pounder?
That's
what's the mechanism there? We're going way back.
Yeah.
We lost the younger audience.
They're
sure.
like, I don't even know what pogs are. I used to. Yeah, the keenies, right? You got to have your keenies. No, so I mean, really, if you're even thinking about that, it's probably 2 to 1, but it's not quite, and that's sort of what you see this exchange. I think for the Galaxy, they got exactly what they need, and if you're Minnesota, you're like, hey, we got general allocation money, we got exactly what we need. I don't think there are any losers in this, there aren't any winners. You just have to understand that the Galaxy did this for a specific reason, and that was to go after a player, and that's what they're going to try to do. Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately
all
that's
roads point to someone's coming to town.
Yeah, and I can tell you just from the buzz around things, we're going to get to rumors here. I'm going to drag it out a little bit.
It's called a tease.
Yeah, that's right. You got to tease it a little bit.
That's why you come to Corner of the Galaxy for
the tease. I'm not so sure that's true.
I'll be careful with my words next time. Yeah,
I was going to say. So. From all of the buzz that is certainly around, and I've talked to some different people, it seems likely that there is a player incoming, that they are coming before this May 7th? Yeah, May 7th is the deadline. Yeah, May 7th deadline. So we'll talk about those rumors here in a little bit. But I want to get back to the best April, because I think it was talked about on the Monday show with the Panda, and we were sort of going over it, and there was some understanding that we sort of understood what was going on, but at the same time it wasn't quantified, and so I wanted to go in and actually quantify what April was. We've told you the LA Galaxy had the best record in April, that they were the best team in April. So all of those things combined have led us to the actual numbers that are involved. There were only 2 teams that went undefeated in April. One of them was the LA Galaxy, and the other one was New York City, which is funny because they went 2-0-3 during that time. So not even close to the same.
Edge, LA Galaxy.
Yeah, so the LA Galaxy get there. And then if you look at the total number of points, the LA Galaxy gained 13 points. Whenever you look at that, that's the highest amount of points in 5 games played. By the way, there were teams that played 6 games. In fact, there were 2 teams that it looks like they played 6 games. There were teams that played 3 games. There were teams that played 5 games, 4 games. Everything between 3 and 6, they got played. So it's always hard to sort of judge that. But you look at it, and the Galaxy ended with 13 points. Montreal had 11 points, and they played 6 games. That was the second one. And then LAFC,
LA Galaxy,
and then LAFC had 10 points, and they played 5 games, same as the Galaxy. So there was no team that played better in April than the LA Galaxy. And if you're looking between, LA Galaxy and LAFC, the Galaxy had a tougher schedule during that time as well. So looking at that, again.
It's more points.
Yeah, edge.
Fewer games, more points. Edge, LA Galaxy.
Edge.
Every single category. Point. LA Galaxy.
There we go. So that's how it sort of stands. This is the real deal. The fact that the LA Galaxy are 6-0-0 at home. Somebody said, it feels like just like back in 2014 whenever the Galaxy were. I'm like, okay, listen, this hasn't happened. There's a significant difference between what happened in 2014, 2011, 2012, any of those years, 2010, any of those great years, and what is happening right now. It's only happened one other time, and that was 1996. And
the shirts are appropriate.
That's right.
Thanks, Galaxy History, for making the shirts topical. And I think you're right. When you think back to those, StubHub Center at the time, of being a fortress, Home Depot Center, however you want to say it being a fortress, 6 games unbeaten was not unheard of, but 6 wins, 6-0-0, that's really the wow factor, is not just being unbeaten, but having them all be wins, no draws in there, having them pull out those victories. And I've had some conversations with people, and I sounded like silly saying it in preseason. Something feels different. It's a different. It just feels different. You feel it, and of course, everyone's going to climb over you because point to the numbers. How many points? What does it actually mean?
Yeah.
But the stats now back that up. There is something different going on with this LA Galaxy team, and they've proven it. It's special.
Well, in the LA Galaxy, if you want to go by strict, points and points per game, the LA Galaxy have the highest points per game in Major League Soccer right now. So that tells you sort of where they're at. Now, I certainly think that some of that has been that they've had a heavily weighted schedule. Well, a slightly weighted. It's not even heavily. It's just by 1 game, really. It's 6 games at home, 4 games on the road to their first, or 3 games at home. Yeah, it is. It's 2/3 at home.
Yeah.
So there is some slight tilt to that.
It'll turn the other direction in May. We'll see it.
That's exactly what it is. It is the turn in May that you're going to see, and that's why if you're looking at May, you should probably sit there and say, okay, it's not going to go undefeated. There's going to be some bumps in this road just by the sheer amount of games that are there, the amount of players that are going to be there, the knocks, the injuries, all that stuff is going to accumulate here in May, and hopefully the Galaxy get to June where they only have 3 games and everything can sort of spread out a little bit.
And if you do feel like the Galaxy's sense of self or their power rankings, however you want to rank them, is inflated right now, I think you want to revisit this after the game May 29th, because that's when you'll know, okay, they've gone on a road trip. The team has had time to gel. You get to see who they really are. So I think they're special. They've obviously proven that they're in a good spot right now. But if you want to revisit it later, this is going to be an important month to tell you, are they for real? Are they not for real? I don't know who's out there thinking they're not for real, but I guess if you wanted to wait.
I know somebody who thinks they're not for real, because you told me about it before we got here, and I got all heated and said, this is where stats lie. And Josh loves stats.
Is there a chart? Are you going to throw a chart?
There's no chart. I didn't have time to work up a chart to tell 538 how wrong they are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I did tell you that off there.
Yeah. So what
amongst other things.
Do you remember what 538 had in terms of their power rankings right now?
538 power rankings has just LAFC, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and then the LA Galaxy at number 4 in their power rankings. But Atlanta number 2.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. I got no answers for you.
That's Nate Silver over there, right? That's
Nate Silver is the...
Did he hit his head? I'm worried about him. Do we have to send Twellman over there to make sure he doesn't have a concussion?
He's going to talk about it at halftime, I'm sure.
I'm trying to figure this out and understand where in God's name. Listen, you can carry over from last year. You can say, okay, the stats are
which to their credit or detriment, or for whatever you want to say, they give the Galaxy more credit last season than probably they deserve.
I agree.
Yeah, they kept favoring them and it all fell off the rails.
But they give Philadelphia, who the Galaxy beat, and who probably beat pretty nice. It was an okay, comfortable win. I was like, okay, the Galaxy are better than Philadelphia.
All right, if I'm going to play devil's advocate,
oh God,
they're on the East Coast, so their future schedule could have them, because this is potentially how is the season going to end, and so with them technically having more points, I could see that argument for Philadelphia because they're going to play on the Eastern Conference, which has a weaker schedule. I'm wrong.
Right.
But
right. Yeah, you're
But
wrong.
that's the logic.
Exactly. Ben, who's clearly a 538 fan, he also says the LA Galaxy's defensive rating of 1.7 hasn't changed since last season, and they have been light years better than they were. I mean, this is all about stats not catching up yet.
Yeah.
I mean, because Atlanta is horrible. San Jose is a better team than Atlanta right now.
Yeah, that's what the stats tell you. The points will tell you.
Who did Atlanta just beat 1-0, and they were all excited about it, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're back!" And I'm like, "No, it was." I don't remember who it was.
Tune into Corner of the United Atlanta podcast.
Anyway, so that one. So they have two teams that are clearly not better than the LA Galaxy, above the LA Galaxy right now. And I will say that I think LAFC is probably a better team than the LA Galaxy right now.
You know, you don't say that on this show.
I just said it.
I know this is your show. You're not supposed to say that.
I just said it. I will also say that I think 6 out of their 10 games that they have played have all been affected by red cards. Come on.
That's also
Come on.
That's one little feather in the cap that you still get to boast, because you're right. We haven't seen the real deal. And you don't want to peak too
Christian
soon.
Roldan got red carded for nothing, and then the disciplinary committee goes and steals more money from him, and then the independent review committee goes, "You're all crazy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
What game were you guys watching? Yeah.
Oh my God.
There was a great clip after that game of Ted Uncle, I believe, was the one who reffed it. At the final whistle, he just yells an expletive because he just knew he knew he botched that game.
Yeah, well, you can't anyway.
He messed it up.
Different
Enough
things.
time.
Power rankings are ridiculous. The LA Galaxy, I think, are the second best team.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that they could very well be the first. If they start playing like they did in the first half against Real Salt Lake, they will be the first.
I keep saying it. You don't want to peak now.
You don't
want to
peak
now. If you're disappointed with the results, they're getting wins. And that's exactly what you want. You want them to look dominant later. Eke through, squeak them out now.
Yeah, this is the thing. The Galaxy still do play in the Western Conference, and there's some bad teams in the Western Conference, particularly Colorado.
I was going to say, speaking of dumpster fires,
I just have to bring this up too, because Colorado's like so much fun to talk about right now. Is that Connor Casey, who is the Galaxy killer? I mean, that bald-headed evil villain has been one of the guys.
Bully, that guy.
He is. He's a mean guy, and he used to score in the Galaxy every time he would come on. And that guy's now the coach. He's also a guy who said in an interview that when he was playing,
I saw that,
he didn't watch soccer, doesn't watch MLS because none of the soccer around the world or in MLS interested him at all.
Yeah, that's who I'd want as a head coach. I don't know about you. That's how I judge my metric.
There we go. That's what we got. All right. So anyway, so that's just some interesting stuff we wanted to throw around there. Let's get to some rumors now. Why don't we go a little early and just and sort of pop this in. Let's get to the rumor that doesn't involve the LA Galaxy but involves an old LA Galaxy player, an alumnus.
That's not correct.
That's not? No, what is
alumnus.
it? Alumnus?
Or
There's
alumni.
not a T?
There's no T.
The alumni?
Just say alumni.
Illuminati.
Galaxy alumni.
Omar Gonzalez to Toronto FC.
Omar
Gonzalez. Listen, this was the reason that Toronto stayed where they wanted to stay. This is why that whole deal to move up to get the other Gonzalez, People Gonzalez, for the Galaxy, why it took so long having to make the deals with the number 1 and number 2 teams in order to make it.
Toronto wanted that spot. They knew that they were, or I don't know if they knew they were going to use it, but they had plans in place. I'm sure that if this is going to happen, they obviously either, one, had this idea in down the road and they wanted to keep that spot so they can get Gonzalez because he's going to be a re-entry player, or they said, we have the number 1 spot, let's make a move. Who's a player that's on this list that we can make it worth our while? I would go with the former more than the latter, but that something else was in the works. They wanted to keep that spot for a reason.
Ali Curtis came out and said basically during all this that he was like, hey, we have some ideas of who we might want to get, and so that's where we're going. So a man who once played the saxophone in his orange chonies,
sexy sax man,
will be going up to Toronto. It looks like. That's Paul Tenorio reporting that right now. It seems likely. Lots of people asking if the Galaxy should have made a play for him, and the answer is no. I like the Gonzalez that the LA Galaxy got. People Gonzalez was a good choice. I still... to me, it's really hard to sort of wash my mouth of the Omar Gonzalez doesn't hustle into the corner during MLS Cup and almost cost the LA Galaxy an MLS Cup in 2014.
Yeah, I don't hold that against him.
I do.
I know you do.
Yes.
But I think that ship has sailed, and I think you look at the Galaxy defense now, you look at the coaching staff, you look at Valdecantos and how he works these guys. Omar just doesn't seem like a fit with this team.
No, and People Gonzalez does, and that's why it makes a bunch of sense for me. So
you got the wrong Gonzalez.
You got the wrong Gonzalez.
Dueling Gonzali. Is that correct? Alumni?
Yes.
Gonzali?
Yeah,
multiple Gonzalezes?
It's like cactuses and fishes. All right, let's get to the real rumors now. There are 2 rumors and 2 Argentines that are linked with the LA Galaxy right now. One of them is realistic right now as we speak and is a probable addition to the roster. One of these guys has been linked to the LA Galaxy, and it seems like if he would ever be coming, it would be more of a long-term play and not a short-term play, possibly a summer signing, but things would have to happen. So let's go over the long-term first. Ignacio Fernandez, he's a 29-year-old midfielder who plays at River Plate in Argentina. Supposedly, River are asking about $8 to $9 million for his release, which
how much GAM is that?
That's a lot. That's $2 in GAM. It's all the GAM.
Yeah.
And so it's $8 to $9 million for his release. This is why it would make him a designated player.
Yeah.
You have to spread out those unless they have $8 or $9 million of jam or TAM in there that they can.
It's AG. Yeah. Coachella just happened. They've got cash floating around over there.
They're good to go. Use some of that Coachella cash, Uncle Phil. So if you look at that, that's probably not a likely scenario. This is a guy who can play in a bunch of different midfield positions. Center midfield looks like more of his place. Now, here's the crazy thing. I wrote this off and said, no, this isn't going to happen because of that number, and it doesn't make sense. But this could be a summer move. Now, in order for it to be a summer move, that means you'd have to move Ramon Alessandrini. Yeah. That's tough to do whenever he's injured. Yeah. However, I'm told that I shouldn't exactly dismiss that, so I won't dismiss it right now, and I'll just sort of sit here and roll my eyes at it really, really hard.
I was going to say, that's the plus of having this on video, right?
Yeah.
I think with Ramon, the extension not happening before the season is a flag. And also, this is just something you want to monitor. At the price and the likelihood of him needing to be a DP is where this isn't going to happen on May 7th. But this is something where whenever you hear names, you hear a name and then it circles back around and it circles back around. So I think that this is someone who is on their radar. It's probably not on their radar for this season. We hear Dennis Teclosa and Shkolo talking about the future and what's going to and this is probably a play a long-term play.
It could be.
And so maybe once, Zlatan, they part ways, this is someone they're looking on. With Roman being hurt, it's cold. It's cold,
but it could happen.
But it's a perfect opportunity to part ways.
The rumor says that LA Galaxy representatives have already met with River representatives, the sporting director at River, and that they're working on a deal for this. Now, again, it doesn't seem likely to happen right now, but that's where I just keep it that name in the back of your head. Yeah. I'm super skeptical about it, but I refuse to dismiss it, and I've been told not to. So we're going to keep it. Ignacio Fernandez, Nacho Fernandez, to the LA Galaxy, 29-year-old midfielder, plays at River Plate in Argentina. He's an Argentine himself. So the other Argentine.
I was going to say, do we have an Argentine connection or something?
Why
do these names keep popping up?
It's so surprising. The other one is the one that is more likely. Fabio Alvarez to the LA Galaxy. He's a 26-year-old midfielder, plays at Club Atletico Tucumán in the Argentinian Primera Division. He's an attacking central midfielder. But he can play on either wing as well. Yep. There's lots of flexibility in this. I think even the fact that he's an attacking central midfielder also means that he could probably play up top at forward. So that seems to be the likely guy who's coming in and the versatile guy. Now, the deal is right now, as far as we know, a loan deal for 1 year with an option to buy, and this looks like the reason the Galaxy made a deal to get targeted allocation money.
Yeah, so. And if you're reading between the lines of the quotes that have been coming out, we're looking for a player who could play on the forward or on the wings. We're looking for, we still have money. We're flexible with our salary. This is the type of player, and Ignacio Fernandez, that's someone who's going to be, that's a big name. That's a lot of money. That's going to make it work. But when you think of this, his salary and what it's going to take to get him, the positions, Wikipedia has him as a forward. Other articles have him as a midfielder. So that tells you this guy fits all of the billing, what you hear Dennis Teclosa talking about. And so, where's there's smoke, there's fire. The article was on MLS, soccer.com. So
right.
They're not going to post something there if they don't have a sniff that's going to happen. So we've seen it happen where it doesn't occur, but I think this is a hot rumor. Is it on the tracker?
Yeah, it is on the tracker.
4-star?
If you could get to the tracker. It's at the tracker. It is a 4-star rumor right now. It went from 3 stars quickly to 4 stars this morning after I was able to talk to some people who had a little bit of knowledge. The other thing here is that as you're looking at Fabio and where you could possibly put him, there's 2 big takeaways here. One is that he could play in the central, and he could move Leggett out wide. I mean, there's lots of argument about where Leggett plays best. I don't have the answer, and I will not tell you that he plays better on the wing or I think he plays about the same on either side.
And I think with Gold Cup coming, you may not have to find out.
Yeah.
You may legit, take some month off. You plug Fabio in there, and then you don't have to worry about it until July.
Right.
And then you figure it out and fine tune for the playoff. Don't peak now. Don't peak now. Save it for later.
Save it for later. That's going to be a new T-shirt. Don't peak now. Don't peak too soon. Don't
Wait
peak
for it.
Don't peak
Wait
in
for
May.
it.
Yeah.
Wait till we see the whites of their eyes.
Don't peak in May. All right. Got to peak in September. That's when you want to peak.
Are you making fun of me, John?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
The other really big reason that you would want Fabio Alvarez to be on the LA Galaxy is the reason that he would add another A to the already A-filled last names the LA Galaxy have.
That's why they're making these moves.
Yes, they're trying to. They're going to have a roster eventually of all A's. Alvarez would be added to a roster that would have Roman Alessandrini.
Well, they already have an Alvarez. He's the second Alvarez.
They're just trying to collect Alvarez's. Efrain Alvarez, Orlando Antuna. Let's see, Julian Araujo, and then Hugo Ariano, who's down with G2 right now, but still on the roster. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 6 A's. There's no team in Major League Soccer that has 6 A's as last name.
Give us the trophy for that.
There's no way.
Is there a spoon, or what gives for the most people with the most A's?
Yeah, a spoon.
Fridge magnet?
An A fridge magnet.
Free trip to Alaska?
Maybe, or Alabama,
There you
Arkansas.
Oh, good stuff.
Wow. This is good stuff.
This is not good.
One of the things we missed that I really want to go back to is the quote that came out with the press release for the Tam and Jam. Can we talk about this for a second?
The fact that there was a press release for this trade is spectacular. Is there tongue in cheek in this one?
Yeah.
Or are they serious?
There's tongue in cheek.
Okay.
Totally tongue in cheek.
You never know.
Let's see. Here we go. This is from Dennis DeClosa. I love this. As everyone knows, this is about the Tam and Jam's trade with Minnesota United. As everyone knows, it's imperative to trade Jam for Tam as we look to remain competitive in the global market, said LA Galaxy General Manager Dennis DeClosa. Securing Tam for Jam will provide us flexibility to improve our roster prior to the closing of the primary MLS transfer window.
Imperative.
What
a word to describe this. Jam for Tam.
To remain competitive in a global market, you have to have Tam and Jam. Yeah, this is totally the thing. This reminds me of another press release the LA Galaxy released, just to me, however, upon my wedding. These two quotes are about as equal in importance, so I wanted to go over this. My wedding, the LA Galaxy PR department, the wonderful people that they are, Chris Glidden, Vicky Mercado, Brendan Hannon, Chris Hibble. There's about 7 Chris's, and
yeah.
I think
just say thanks, Chris, and you're covered.
You're good to go. But they were able to put out a press release for my wedding that only came to me. None of you got it, sorry. But this was the quote that they got that I will now say is equal to the quote that Dennis DeClosa just put out, and it's from Bruce Arena himself. He says, "We're writing press releases for weddings now," said LA Galaxy head coach and general manager. "Get out of my office." There we go. So those two are equal as far as quotes go.
Yeah. We're writing press releases for this now.
You can tell everybody that this is a real press release.
Nah.
I mean, it's
I
didn't make it.
It's well doctored. I want to see the originals. I'm going to need to get a magnifying glass, take it to a historian. I'll get to the bottom of it. I'll get my team on it.
Yeah,
my crack team of. I'll get another Chris to look it up for me.
That's what you need. Everybody needs a Chris, or 3, or 5. All right. People are already in this. I knew this would happen.
Uh-oh.
People are in the chat room and they're giving me crap about the way that I'm pronouncing a certain word, and I of course know that I'm pronouncing it right, and everybody else is pronouncing it wrong.
They knew it was coming.
They had to have, right?
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. It was all there. Let's go on with LA Galaxy news, or at least MLS news a little bit. The MLS All-Stars to play Atletico Madrid in Orlando. This is coming up on July 31st, 2019. Broadcast in more than 170 countries there, Eric. So is it still relevant for MLS to play an international team in order for the All-Star game to mean anything? You're wrong. You're wrong.
I think yes, it's still relevant. It gets eyeballs on it when you have Atletico Madrid and the players that they have. It's the Antoine Griezmann welcome committee. Back up the wagon. He's been rumored with MLS, asking about MLS and liking posts on Instagram and whatnot. So I think it's still relevant to have the LA Galaxy, the MLS All-Stars playing these games, because it does bring notoriety. In a perfect world for me, they'd still have some type of old school All-Star, East versus West or skills competition like they used to. I think that'd be fun. Does it really mean anything? No. Can they do away with this game altogether? I think they could. But it is still fun and it's still noteworthy. This is kind of like when you argue about aging superstars coming to the league. You can say you don't want it to happen, but you can't argue that it's not noteworthy, and it puts the league on the map and brings eyeballs, brings attention to it. It's not a bad thing.
No. I mean, you're just not thinking big enough. I think that's really what it is. Your small mind is not thinking like large.
Listen, I didn't go to Arizona State. I'll tell you that much.
No, it's the bottom line. It's what I said. It's broadcast to 170 countries. Are you going to get 170 countries and you get a large viewing audience for just watch the East versus West? I mean, if they do like the shootouts and stuff like that. If
Landon Donovan's wearing a sports bra, maybe
it might make some sense. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can tell you is that, do I like it? No. Do I understand that with MLS now, the MLS Cup not being a orchestrated, large, preset event that you could bring all your sponsors to, that the All-Star game now is that large, orchestrated, preset event you can bring all your sponsors to? Do you understand that? Yeah, I understand that.
Heineken presents Audi's Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly. By Alaska.
Yeah.
So no,
the whole game.
So that's sort of what it is. I mean, it's a big party for MLS, and they want to have it broadcast on the largest stage. And right now, the international team still makes that happen. Who shows up for that international team will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that right now I say don't touch it. I think it's stupid. I would like for it to be East versus West. You know what I'd really like? It just to go away. You don't need to do either of those.
That actually is the real solution, is that it just doesn't happen. You don't break your season and take players away from training with their team and mess up the schedule, mess up the routine. Understandable maybe on a World Cup year where you do need to break, but yeah, that's the real solution, is just doing it away with it altogether. It's just kind of an American tradition, which have fun with it. Don't make it so high stakes.
Yeah.
But these are professional athletes, so whenever you put them on the field, they're gonna want to play for something.
As long as Caleb Porter isn't out there coaching, I think it'll probably be fine. Somebody asked if Guillermo Barros-Schelotto could end up coaching the All-Star team. The answer is no. They stopped doing that, where the team, the coach with the best record goes and coaches the All-Star. They stopped it. Or the team that was in the MLS Cup last year is like that. No, it's whoever the home coach is. I don't even know who that is for Orlando anymore. It's in Orlando in July. It's in Orlando in July.
Florida in July sounds lovely.
That is just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire world. Oh, God, it's horrible. Florida's already basically an unbearable place to be, and you're going to play it in summer?
Down.
It's too much. I can't. It's stupid, and I won't watch the All-Star game. I'm just telling you. I probably will.
You're watching it. Everyone's watching it. And that's the beauty of this, is we're all going to, defecate all over it right now, but push comes to shove, we're all going to be watching it. Eyeballs are going to be on it. The starters, Atletico Madrid starters, they'll have some players out there of notoriety because that's part of the deal. Will they finish the game? Probably not. Are you going to see a B squad? For sure. But the MLS All-Stars are going to be a rotating squad as well. So it's an exhibition. Have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy it for what it is.
This is really what you should be doing if you're a true LA Galaxy fan, is you should be doing the same thing that we have now been suggesting since this podcast came in 2009.
Vote for other players.
Vote for other teams' players, especially your rivals. Yes. Vote for them to play and them to start. Unfortunately, Zlatan's going to be there kind of regardless. Yeah. But don't let them talk you into getting Jonathan Dos Santos out there and playing on there. The best player in Major League Soccer in April.
Yeah.
You don't want Jonathan Dos Santos anywhere near that All-Star team July 31st, which will be after the Gold Cup, which will be after the Women's World.
Yeah, imagine Jonathan Dos Santos gone for a Gold Cup. Mexico makes a deep run, and then you have to ship him off to Orlando in July and have a missed time with the team. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Yeah, we're voting for all the rivals.
Yeah. In the chat room, they're saying, thunderstorms, humidity in Orlando. There's a good chance this game never gets played. Yeah. If it's in the evening in Orlando, it just wipes it white out.
Throw a crocodile in goal and call it a day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So anyway, I wanted to get over that and sort of do it. This is fun too. The chat room's lively. It's great. If you guys want to call in and actually talk to us, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We have the phone lines open right now, 949-734-4217, 949-734-4217. We'll sort of let that sit there for a little bit as the lag gets over from the live show. It's about 7-10 seconds, something like that.
I'm expecting the calls to come rolling in any second. First time, long time?
Yeah, exactly. The training schedule, we've sort of already gone over with you. The LA Galaxy have already left for New Jersey, as we should say. New York, New Jersey.
We're not the team to make that argument.
So they've headed to the East Coast. They will train tomorrow, Friday, and then they have an early early game on Saturday. A body clock time, it's an 11 a.m. time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I barely have time to work out and get back and, like, be ready to announce the lineups at 10 and see how that goes.
Kind of like it. It's brunch.
It's brunch.
Get your bottomless mimosa ready to go.
That works. All right, 512, who's this?
Hi, it's Abby. Hi.
Hey, Abby.
Abby.
Abby's the one who told us we better take calls, otherwise she wouldn't have anything. Yeah.
Wow, personal. Open the lines for Abby.
That's right, Abby. All right, Abby, what do you want to talk about?
All right. So I personally analyzed the Real Salt Lake game.
Okay.
Got some stats going, and I really wanted to talk about just kind of the Galaxy as a whole, and how the second half and the yellow cards, how that's going to play into the upcoming May season.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? What did you gain from sort of that RSL game then? What were your major takeaways from that?
I really enjoyed watching the Galaxy as a whole, especially in the first half. Defense was beautiful. Everything about it was just amazing. I really liked the idea of Ibra dropping back. I liked how everyone just kind of did their job. That's something that you don't really see too often. You see it a lot from Zlatan. He knows what he's capable of, touch and go. He's not able to run as much because he's an older player. He knows what he needs to do and he does it. Whereas a lot of the younger players don't necessarily know what to do. They just know that they don't want to lose. Mm-hmm. And in the first half, we really got to see this eagerness to win, to take advantage. I just wish we would have had that in the second half as well.
Yeah, it's been that uneven performance that we've seen. I also, Abby, I agree with you. I think that you sort of saw what the LA Galaxy were capable of in that first half. That is the LA Galaxy you're hoping peaks in September, as Eric would say. Don't peak now. Don't do it now. Wait for it. But no, I mean, that's what you want to see. And I know that Ibra was not happy with his service in the first half. And that's sort of the part you're going to have to balance, because he was talking about how he was like, well, I wasn't getting the ball, so I dropped in deep. And he's like, and then in the second half, they found me in deep. But the second half was a horrible show.
Yeah. And I understand what Abby's saying, because he knows what to do. But in the second half, you saw the body. He wanted to make those passes, and those passes weren't connecting for Zlatan. So I appreciated seeing him drop back and play a little bit of that 10, but it just wasn't connecting there. But I liked how he activated himself, as he said. That's to get himself going. He did make a difference in the game, so you can't be mad at it. But I'd like him to put two first halves together.
He was apologizing. For passes that he made, which is always an interesting thing to see. The guy who usually yells at everybody is like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I made a mistake."
But it was the right idea.
It was. All right, Abby. Anything else, or are we good?
I have two questions.
Yes.
I want a little bit more of your opinion on what's going to happen with Alessandrini. I know that there was some debates about, he might leave. They might just kind of like shut him down because he really likes LA. However, I really feel like Guillermo loves his players. You saw after talking with Bingham, they made that personal goal of wanting him to be talked about in the national team again. And I really feel that Guillermo just, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to tell Bingham, I want this for you, and I'm sure he does that with all of his players and sets these personal goals. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to let him go.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I think the injuries have now mounted enough that it's going to be difficult. You have to separate the player and the heart that he has sort of from what he's able to perform and what he's able to do. Could they possibly sign him to a lower amount? Yeah, maybe. And maybe that's the option that eventually goes there. For me, I think that he's injured enough that it's tough to sort of waste even a roster spot on him right now. He's going to end up missing like 22 or 23 games, and that's if he comes back like early in September. And he missed a whole bunch of games last year, even though he ended up putting up some really good numbers. So you can't spend that kind of money and do it. So it's one of those, if you're going to get him, it has to be at a largely reduced rate. And if you're not, then you move him off and you get him off of the roster kind of as quickly as possible in order to get him, in order to open that spot back up, Eric.
I think it's one of those things. You're right. It's a business decision because if the emotion is involved, you want to keep him. And I'm sure Guillermo has talked to him and wanted to build. You want to build your players up and have them have confidence. But this is a situation without them renewing him or extending him. Excuse me. Without them extending him, it kind of tells you that they might just be running out the clock here. Kind of reminds me of Office Space when Milton, they said, "I'm not getting my paycheck." Well, we fixed the glitch, so I'll be getting paid. No, we fixed the glitch. So they may not be, planning to move forward. They're not going to do anything to actively keep him, but they're just kind of let the clock run out. That's how it feels. It's cold, it's tough, but that's just the impression that I get. And there's a large enough sample size from his time in Europe and his time with the Galaxy that injuries are a problem, and that's not maybe a long-term investment for a designated player.
All right, Abby, we're going to let you go, but you're going to come see us at the stadium next time you're around, right?
Totally.
Okay, there we go. Abby, you're awesome. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Abby.
Appreciate that. If anybody else wants to get in, again, 949-734-4217. We'll attempt to get through some injuries, although I'm sure we'll get another phone call because there were a couple people trying to get through whenever that came through. We talked about Perry Kitchen. Perry Kitchen was back to light training on the side, possibly back to full training in the next 2 weeks. Ramon Alessandrini, we've told you, is out until September. Just some rumors about him possibly departing in the summertime, which is hard to do whenever you're injured, which is just, it doesn't seem likely.
Someone else would have to be willing to take that on.
Yeah, and maybe for free. I mean, maybe if you move for free and you open up a designated player spot.
The price is right.
That's right. That's how it always works. Thanks, Bob. And then Julian Araujo has been 100% cleared to play. You expect him to be available. Don't know if he'll play.
He was at the Corner of the Galaxy meetup at the last game.
Yeah.
We saw him in street clothes. He didn't look like he was walking. He's walking a little gingerly with that ankle, so it made you kind of understand probably why he wasn't out on the field that day. But yeah, he looks like, with enough time off, if the coach says he's healthy, he'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's what it's. I mean, listen, you have a situation right now where you're going to have. I have no idea who Guillermo's going to start whenever you start looking at this New York. Is Traore going to start again? Because why not? He was the highest rated player on the field. Is going to start over Shelvik? Is Felcher done and Araujo's going to come in? It's a great problem to have all of a sudden. But
save it for the game preview.
Oh gosh,
Are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet. We got other stuff to talk about still. I wanted to go over the standings real quick just to understand that Philadelphia is first in the Eastern Conference. I know we probably touched on that a little bit, at least how that is.
And we beat Philadelphia.
And the Galaxy beat Philadelphia. There are currently 3 teams, 1, 2, and 3. Philadelphia, DC United, and Montreal all have 17 points, all at 1.7 points per game. And if you go and put that into the single table with the supporter shield and everything else, you get basically the first Eastern Conference team is Philadelphia at 4th. But if you go by points per game, FC Dallas would jump them. So technically the first East team isn't until 5th.
Yeah, and points per game, the Dynamo actually jumps.
Dynamo jumps all the way up.
Jumps Dallas as well.
Yeah, because the Houston has only played 7 games so far. They played 3 games in April, which is weird. When are they going
to play 9 games in May?
I don't know.
What does their schedule
I know,
look
right?
like?
It's getting to be that way. So there's a couple teams that haven't played a bunch of games. Houston has 7. Toronto's only played 7. Atlanta's only played 7. So, a little bit. Unlike some places here, we're going to tell you what the points per game is because that means something.
That's important.
That's more important than where the points are at right now. And quite honestly, the Supporters' Shield table should be sorted by points per game and not points because in Major League Soccer,
at the end of the day, it's settled by points. So you keep it by points.
At the end of the day,
you consider it, and you.
At the end of the day, it is. Right now, it just informs morons about who they think is in first place and second place and everything else.
That's what 538 is using. They're using the Supporters' Shield standings.
That's why it's so crazy. So anyway, the LA Galaxy fit in 2nd in the Western Conference, 2nd in the Supporters' Shield, making a good press. And quite honestly, if they have a good May, which will be difficult to do, they could wind up at the top of this. There's no reason to believe that they can't get better because they haven't played well.
They haven't played a full 90 minutes.
The best game they played so far was without Ibrahimovic, and it was against Minnesota, and that was the most complete game they had, and I think they played like 65, 70 minutes.
And they gave up 2 goals in a short amount of time, so I don't know that I'd want to tout that as your best game.
Tell me a better game that they played.
No, I don't.
I know.
I don't disagree that there wasn't a better. I'm just saying you don't want a mental.
But still.
You use my own sword against me. You but stilled me.
Yeah, but still, the LA Galaxy's best game has been Minnesota, and there isn't what other game? There isn't one.
You're right. Vancouver. I don't know that you could argue that was better because it definitely didn't start off better. And I only count games on grass. Games on turf don't count.
Hey, you want to play a game?
I'd love to play a game.
Okay.
I love games.
Let's do this. Let's predict the schedule in May. The LA Galaxy, as we've told you, play 6 games. There are 4 away games. there are 2 home games. The 2 home games sit in the middle of the month. The 4 away games are bookending the month. So the LA Galaxy travel on Saturday, May 4th to play the New York Red Bulls.
Is it New York Red Bulls or Red Bull New York?
So
I see both.
It's both. And I don't know.
I don't like it.
I don't like either. I wish they would just figure out which one it is. So, yeah, I don't know. Just
Sorry,
pick,
I threw
pick
you
a
off
game.
there.
Pick a game. I don't know. Pick the New York game. What do you think?
Pick it now? I think
yes.
They've had a week's rest.
Yes.
The Red Bulls don't scare me. That's a win.
It's a win. Even though the fact that, I would
it's
say.
A win. Let's say, wait for it.
Wait for it. There's stuff in there. We'll talk about it in the game preview, but there's stuff in there that leads to believe that is a possibility.
Yes.
And I will say that I think that a reasonable person would suggest that it was probably a draw.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a great... I think that this is a tough schedule for the Galaxy. So they go away to New York. They go away on a midweek, short rest. There's a possibility I don't even play Ibrahimovic in this game. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, if I'm GBS, I'm sitting there going, do we need to? I don't know that we need to. So for me, I would say that a draw is a best-case scenario against Columbus, even though Columbus has lost 4 in a row right now.
Are you predicting a draw?
I am predicting a draw.
I'm predicting a loss there. I think midweek, you don't come home.
They've lost 4 in a row, and Caleb Porter is their coach. This is the where the Galaxy get to look in the mirror across the way and look at Caleb Porter and be like, we almost had that.
I will tell you
yes.
that you are right about maybe this is where you rest Ibrahimovic. And when you're talking about lineups, Shelvik and Felcher instead of Traore and Araujo, I think that Wednesday game, that's the you have nothing to lose game because you're on short rest. You're on an East Coast road trip. So I think that's when you play those young guys. And maybe those young guys show out and they steal something there. So I think that's a possibility. But I think if you start a consistent lineup than what you had in New York on short week, on a road trip, I just think that sets itself up for a loss. And Columbus, I know they've had a bad run, but it's the roulette table. Eventually, it's gonna turn the other direction.
It's gonna go. It's been black the last three rolls. It's gonna be red.
It's gonna be red.
This is the one. This is the one where red's gonna happen. Okay, then home to New York City. That's a win.
I'm calling it a win. Yes.
Okay, home to the Colorado Rapids. And Connor Casey as their coach, a guy who doesn't like to watch soccer.
Of course it's a win, but you know they're going to draw this game. You just know they're going to draw this game. But yeah, I'm calling a win.
Okay. Win.
For the record, I'm calling it a win.
Okay, win. Away. Now, second East Coast trip. Away to Orlando City, May 24th, 4 p.m. kickoff. Orlando's technically a dumpster fire most of the times. They got Nani.
I'm giving it a draw for the Nani factor.
I think they lose that game. Yeah. I think that's a loss.
Okay.
And then away midweek to Sporting Kansas City, who didn't have enough players to hold practice because everybody was injured.
That's what I was saying. We were saying off air. Schedule the game now. We want to play them now. They're all hurt. Let's play them now.
Yeah, the schedule should be New York Red Bulls and then away to Columbus on Wednesday, and then Thursday night play Sporting Kansas City.
We'll play them Sunday.
Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, back to back. That's how we do the Sunday league games.
I think that's probably a loss.
I think it's a loss as well.
And even though I think that Sporting Kansas City has been horrible so far this year, they're going to be better by the end of this month,
the roulette wheel. By the end of the month, they'll be healthy. They'll be back. And you'll probably start to see them. They don't have the CCL that they have to worry about. I'm calling that a loss as well.
Okay.
So how many points do you have out of there?
I have. They went 2-2-2, so that's 6 plus 2. That's 8.
8. I have 10 points coming out of there. But I think that's a good goal. Out of 18 possible points, walking away with between 8 to 10. I know Bruce Arena used to talk like this. If we can get this amount of points on this month or this particular trip, you get half your points on a game or on a run where you have 4 away games.
Right.
8 to 10 points out of 18 ain't bad. I think that's a good goal.
Here's the thing, is that I think Guillermo Barros-Schelotto doesn't know how to play for draws.
Yeah.
And I like that.
That's a good thing.
I like that. So there could be some surprises in here because if you go out and you win the first 2 games on the road, all of a sudden you're like, okay,
let's keep this party rolling.
Keep going, and you win the 2 games at home, and now you're on a roll, and you're like, or even if you draw one of those, right, and you sit there and go, okay, that
Columbus game, you steal a point.
You steal a point, and you're like, okay, that's still as long as you stay undefeated. Now the undefeated streak grows.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're already at 7 undefeated. Yes, 7 undefeated in a row. Only 1 draw in there, by the way. 6 wins. It was great. All that stuff. So you're looking at that and you're saying the momentum is carrying, and so you could build it. I could see it going a bunch of different ways. We have a phone call, though. So let's get to the phone call. 562, who's this?
Hey, it's Eddie, the Magic Man on Twitter.
Eddie, what's happening, buddy?
The Magic Man.
I love that. That's good. That's good stuff. I think I need a better Twitter handle than just Jay Guesman.
Well, you can't take the Magic Man.
No, it's already taken. All right, Eddie, what do you got for me, buddy?
Quick question. For the game this Saturday, since it's on ESPN, will it be available on ESPN Plus since I'll be out of town?
Okay, so sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. See, sometimes they're like, if you want to watch an ESPN game, you have to sign in with your cable provider, even though it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
So I would count on it not being available on ESPN unless you already have on ESPN Plus, unless you already know that works for you. It works for me because I have it through my cable provider, but I know that's a thing. So just be a heads up. It could be blocked out for you. All right,
sounds good. Thank you.
That was easy. I like those questions.
That was easy. I've been bitten by that before, where I think the game's on ESPN.
You've been bitten by Eddie?
No, not the Magic Man.
Okay.
He wouldn't dare.
Okay, I didn't know.
Where the game's on ESPN Plus, you think, I'm going to use ESPN Plus, and you go to use it, and the game's on ESPN, so it's technically not on that device. So if you're strictly ESPN Plus, you could be in trouble there. But if you have a cable subscription, go to a view party.
Go to a viewing party.
Get your bottomless mimosa on.
We should go to. Oh no, it's too early. I can't possibly.
11 a.m. doesn't work.
I got to work out, and then I got to get back, and then it's 10 o'clock is the lineups.
T-ball,
and then and there's all these things in the way. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a hall pass for that. All right, let's get to some questions before we go and preview this game. Real quick, we had a question from Reddit. Barry is in the light now. Says, given GBS's ability to get our players playing better than they did last year, i.e. Daniel Steres, do you think that bringing Kitchen to play in the midfield alongside Jonathan Dos Santos and Corona would be a good move? This would move Leggett to the wing while Boateng and Pontius, come off the bench. No.
Yeah, you don't know.
No.
I like the argument. Because putting them in a position to succeed, it seems like that's the case. But I think the factor here is the preseason training, where the Galaxy are with their stamina and their ability, where they're super sharp. Kitchen hasn't been part of that, so you can't expect that he'll be necessarily better. But that's not to say that Schelotto's not going to put him in a position to succeed. So maybe he'll utilize him depending on what he sees in training and how they're using him. Perry Kitchen, through the start of last season, I liked what he brought to the table. So if during that Gold Cup break he could match what he did at the beginning of last season, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the thing is, depending on who's available, I think he becomes the first person off the bench for that central midfield. It's been Carrasco.
He replaces Carrasco, essentially.
And I think Kitchen comes in and plays for Carrasco. And Gold Cup, I mean, Jonathan Dos Santos not there. You're going to have to do something. Is Perry Kitchen that guy? He might have to be.
Yeah.
And then Carrasco comes off the bench for him whenever he gets tired. So there's a place for Perry Kitchen. It's on this team until the end of December, and then he's not on the team anymore. I really kind of believe that.
Yeah. Look at the price that they're paying and not being someone who was brought in with this regime. All signs point that direction. So, but if they can get something out of him, it's definitely plausible.
Yeah, $475,000.
That's a lot of money in GAM or TAM.
That's in regular money. That's in under the
cash?
cap. It's under the cap. It's Uncle Phil bucks.
It's cash.
It's Uncle Phil bucks. Just drop that down. So anyway, I just don't see it happening. In terms of moving him right in. Hugh from Reddit says, can anyone come up with a better argument for Leggett not playing on the wing? Because I believe that's his best position. His breakout season with LA, the season that landed him in the national team radar, was the season where he played as a winger. Leggett played right mid, while the new Argentine guy slots into a cam role with Jonah and Corona behind him, that central attacking midfield role. I don't think there's a good argument either way that he's better in one position or the other. I don't see it. I see him lacking sort of the final breakthrough pass as a cam, but I also see him lacking.
He has moments.
Yeah.
And we had this argument, I think, last time I was on potential and ceiling. I think the argument there is when he had his, quote unquote breakout with the Galaxy, it was on the wing. And with Alessandrini out, maybe you can push him out. And if you're bringing a new player in who plays that attacking midfielder, all is kosher. It all works itself out. But yeah, I could see the argument that because he's not consistently delivering in that number 10 spot, he's playing well. He's not playing, poor soccer right now. But if you move him out wide and he could give you everything you want, and maybe with the player that they bring in, and with Alvarez, if they bring him in, and there's a fluidity where, sometimes one shifts out to the right, the other one goes to the middle, and it's all clicking, it's all connecting. Maybe there's a fluidity where he goes out to the wing and contributes, and then he comes back in the middle and dishes out some passes here and there. So I could see it working out. I could see him working out on the wing, depending on if the player they're bringing in plays in that attacking role underneath Zlatan.
Here's the thing is that I'm hesitant to break up that midfield triangle.
And I don't think you're going to see that shift happen because it's all working now.
I think the Argentine, whoever comes in.
Yeah. Although technically, Sebastian is Argentine as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
Isn't he more Portuguese? Wasn't I told he was Portuguese?
He's not Portuguese.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Have you seen his card?
I haven't seen his card, so
okay.
that's why
that's
I'm
probably
doubting
why
it.
you're saying
no. It's as real as that press release.
I don't. Yes, exactly. So anyway, I think Hugh. Hugh doesn't have a bad argument. There isn't. I don't know. There's a good one that has told me whether he plays in either spot, either way.
Well, I think the argument that he's making is that he hasn't wowed as a 10. We're not walking away saying.
He's
legit
so
is our number 10, and you're going to have to take that spot away from him. The fact that you can make the argument, that tells you what you need to know.
He's legit.
He's a legit 10.
All right.
Even though he's 17. These are dumb jokes.
They are.
Moving on.
They missed all of our ASMR stuff we were doing beforehand time. I swear to God, Eric and I are going to do an ASMR video.
I did not want to do it.
No.
Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Yes.
And they've turned off the
Everybody
show.
just left. This is from Galaxy Fan 89. He says, "What's your opinion on breaking up the midfield?" See, I didn't even read down far enough.
Perfect.
This was example being the potential Fabio signing. He can play cam or wingers. The midfield chemistry Corona is so strong that you leave it and push Fabio wide, or is it worth the risk putting Fabio in the middle and investing in building chemistry in a new midfield? There it is. That is exactly what I mean.
Did he get together with Hugh Galaxy Fan?
And they were on the same Reddit.
The same guy. They're burner accounts.
That's what it is.
I think he submitted 2 questions.
Those are both Pete Vieira, actually. And I know for sure. That's
Galaxy
what that is.
Pete 84. We know we're on to you.
We're on to you, Mr. Vieira. All right, let's get to the game preview. Do you have anything prepared this time?
Maybe.
Oh, wow. Wow. So you are just coming in.
It's funny. It's been a busy week for me. I didn't fully prep. And then I started doing my show notes, doing a little show prep, and I wrote a little something down. So just in case you were going to throw the music on, I might have a little something, but, wasn't fully ready.
I just...
Start spreading the news. They're leaving today. They want to be a part of it. Red Bull New York. Zlatan does the Big Apple this week as the LA Galaxy travel cross-country to take on the New York Red Bulls at Red Bull Arena. Grab your bottomless mimosa and get your brunch on at the local viewing party with an early kickoff of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Come for Zlatan. Stay to watch Taylor Twellman lose his mind at halftime. If you think the Red Bulls are walking away victorious from this, as they say in New Jersey, forget about it.
Wow. All right. I mean, they're getting more ridiculous as we go along.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to make them absolutely cartoonish and ridiculous. And it's what I do.
It's so far you're working. I mean, everybody in the chat room loves this. They love it, and they like it way more than they ever like me.
I'm seeing a lot of fire emojis pops up.
That's right.
I hear that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. They're telling you to light yourself on fire. One of the two. The LA Galaxy 7-1-1. New York Red Bulls 2-4-2. Home record for New York is 2-2-0. Away record for the LA Galaxy 1-1-0. All time in this, the LA Galaxy actually trail in this one. This is the 45th time. Did I get that right? Hold on, I have it. I wrote it down.
If you count the Metro Stars and the whole gang, it's all the same organization.
It is all the same organization. Yeah, the 45th time and the 24th time the two have met in New York. The Galaxy are 17, 19, and 8 all time, and 8, 12, and 3 in New York. So they have a losing record on both the regular series, which is crazy because the Galaxy usually have a winning record over almost anybody.
Teams.
But New York is one of those that they haven't. The Galaxy have a losing record in New York, but the last 2 games these two teams played, the away team has won both of those games.
It's funny the way it's worked out because these games are always memorable. I always remember New York Red Bulls and LA Galaxy. These are always barn burners. Big things happen. I don't know what it is about these two teams that bring it out because it doesn't really matter what form each team is currently on. They just seem to. These games seem to be special. So if you're expecting big things from this game, I think it might be a fun game to watch.
I get text messages whenever you do that of people who are saying, Josh, you should just quit.
Even outside of the chat room, it's impressive.
My good friend Pam just texted me and was like, "Fire Josh, Eric is on.
Eric
is the man.
Thank you.
It's the hammer all the way." Yeah, thanks.
And that was on
Pam.
short notice.
Really appreciate that. That's nice. That's good. It's okay. I have plenty of self-esteem. It's good.
It's your show.
Yeah, it's fine. No problems. The LA Galaxy's leading goal scorer, obviously, it is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Number 2 is Daniel Steres.
I was going to bring that up. He's still holding on to the number 2 spot.
So Daniel Steres would be tied for the lead of New York Red Bulls leading scorer Daniel Royer and Alex Mule. This is some crazy stuff because if you look at how the New York Red Bulls actually lined up last week, whenever they played Cincinnati, they were hosting Cincinnati. They beat them 1-0. Cincinnati had more possession, more passes.
You looked at the same stats I did.
I did. What do you know?
It was not an impressive 1-0 victory. So, and again, without BWP, and they've been without him, so that's a concern if you're the New York Red Bulls or Red Bull New York, whatever you want to call yourself.
Yes.
That's the concern there, and so they don't scare me. Even though you're going away cross country.
It's the body clock game, though.
Yeah.
This is a body clock game. This is one of those where they talk about NFL. They're always like, what about the body clock, man? What time are we playing?
But
body
they left
clock.
today.
They left.
They're
Yeah.
acclimating.
No, they're not. It's 3 hours difference. You're not ready. It's going to be an 11 a.m. game to them. You don't play games at 11 a.m.
When did they train?
When did they train in the morning?
Thank you.
Yeah, so they'll think it's a training game.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's a training.
That's all right. I'm sure Valdecantos will have them ready to go.
It's not. I don't like the time. I don't like how it lines up. I don't like the fact it's on ESPN. I like nothing about this. I think the LA Galaxy can get a win here.
Yeah.
But I also think that a draw is very possible. I think a loss is possible. I know.
Wait
to sit on the fence, Josh.
Yeah, hold on. So you're telling me they can win, lose,
or draw.
Oh, my goodness.
All three of those definite possibilities.
Yeah.
This is why they come for the hard-hitting analysis
This
here.
is why you're the best, Josh. That's why it's your show.
This already, again, with the self-esteem, it's fine. I'll be okay. No, if you look at this, it's a game because you go East Coast, West Coast. It's just always so hard to judge how they're going to do. I think last year I went on the show with Mark Fishkin on Seeing Red, and I was talking about it, and I'm like, hey, the Galaxy are a dumpster fire, and then they go out there and they win. This year, the Galaxy are, arguably one of the best teams, and it's not even argued. They are one of the best teams in Major League Soccer right now.
Top two, no question.
And so they're going to go over to New York, who's not a good team right now. They played 5 defensive players.
Yeah, the 5-4-1 is never good. But if you're going to go against Zlatan and some speedy wingers, that is the strategy you want to use, I think.
I mean, Aaron Long's in there, Parker's in there, Connor Lade is out there, Royer's out there. I mean, they have some good players, but Bradley Wright Phillips, from everything that we know right now, trained inside today on Thursday. Don't know whether or not he's going to be available, and he hasn't been available for them for a little while now.
And I was going to say, if you followed this show at all, anytime you hear training inside during the week, you usually don't see a lot of them on the weekend. So if Phillips is there, I doubt he'll be starting, and so that could be a good sign for the Galaxy.
The last time these two played was last year. New York came in and beat the LA Galaxy at StubHub Center, then StubHub Center 3-2. If you remember that game,
I do remember that game.
So that was it. I mean, that's the game. It's not as big, I think, as an LA New York game usually is. The fact that it's early is stupid too, because you don't get to build on that. But ultimately, you look at this. I think that the Galaxy really are going to have to figure out how they want to play these games. When you're looking at Traore, when you're looking at Julian Araujo, when you're looking at Shelvik and Felcher, when you're looking at who's going to. Everybody else really pretty much. It's Pontius. Pontius is going to start.
Is going to take that spot, and I think that you will see Shelvik and you will see Felcher because they're going cross country. It's a road game, unfamiliar environment. When you talk about setting up players for success, you don't want to necessarily throw your young guys in the fire to a hostile environment. Potentially, I think they mentioned that Red Bull Arena sold out or is close to capacity because, of course, anytime Zlatan comes to town, they near sell out. So maybe you start your more experienced, your veteran players. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of tinkering from the lineup. You're going to see your Shelviks, your Felchers, and if there's a place to bring in Traore as well as he did. He had a great game against Salt Lake, and Araujo, his game against Minnesota really showed out. So I think you'll still go back to those consistent guys because that's what Schelotto does. But again, going back to 538 has New York Red Bulls at a 57% chance to win.
No,
that can't be right.
That
can't be right.
Nate Silver, they need to have concussion protocol over at 538. I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, it's not appropriate to quote R. Kelly, but my mind is telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. I think they can win this game.
Wow.
What are we going to say?
It's our last podcast. This is our last
ASMR.
one that we do.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, there we go.
Snapping into the mic.
That's perfect. If the New York Red Bulls come in, they've won once in their last 6 games. Again, I mean, the Galaxy unbeaten in 7. It's hard to say that the Galaxy are going to lose this game, and I could certainly see it. How it's going. All right,
they're winning.
They're winning. Of course they are. Or
they
could lose.
I'm calling a win. You're calling a loss.
They could lose. We're
both going to be wrong. It's going to be a draw.
I haven't called anything. I am sitting firmly on this fence. I refuse to get off on either side.
Wrong.
It could be a draw. I mean, I could see a loss. I could see a win. Any of those are possibilities.
Get out of here,
Galaxy
Josh.
win this game. There you go.
There
Okay.
it is.
I just wanted to.
2
put it
wins.
out there. Yeah. 2-1. By the way, is the score.
I have
1-0.
1-0.
1-0.
I talked about all these barn burners. I think it's going to be a
1-0
1-0
game. All right. That's how it goes. Great. Good job. All right, I'm glad we made it through that. We, of course, will have another podcast coming up on Monday where we will recap this game, get you ready for the midweek game against Columbus. Again, fast and furious here for a little while as we try and get all these games in, all the podcasts in. The Galaxy return home on Saturday, May 11th, where they face New York City, a 1 p.m. Pacific time kickoff at Dignity Health Sports Park, so make sure you're there for that one. And then they host the Colorado Rapids Sunday, May 19th, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That one, again, is a good one to go to as well, so make sure you get your tickets because those are the only 2 home games you're going to get in the entire month of May, and there's 6 games. So we'll see how that all ends up and how that all goes. But I think that's about it. Eric, is there anything else that you want to get to before we get out of here?
No, we've done it all.
Are you sure?
I
really think we have probably done it all this time. There's some ASMR in there. There's some ridiculous stats.
Yeah, something for everybody.
That's
here.
what we try to do.
Rumors.
We try to make sure everybody's good to go. All right, why don't you tell people where they can find you? We'll go.
You can find me on Twitter at GISHammer. You could also hear me on the Guys in Shorts podcast. You can find them at Guys in Shorts Pod. And thank you for those of you who stuck around during my little hiatus on Instagram. But I'm back with a professional foul. You can follow me on Instagram at Galaxy Pro Foul. That's Galaxy Profoul.
Yeah, didn't bring me back anything from Hawaii either. Thanks.
Oh, I left it at home. Sorry, I'll bring it next
All
time.
Right. If you're looking for me on Twitter, at JGuesman, JGUESMAN, and of course, at Galaxy Podcast. Head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com when it's up and running. It should be up and running. Go check it. If it's not, just tell me, and I'm sure I already know. Cornerofthegalaxy.com, you can get all of our podcasts, all of our videos, all of our articles, getting you ready for this game coming up on Saturday, so check all that stuff out. All right? I think that about does it for Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. I'm Josh Guesman. You've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. All right? Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast, and be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.